Hey guys, it's me, here to read another part of Define Normal by Julianne Peters. So here we go. Chapter 25. From the end of the hall, I could see Jazz standing outside the conference room door, stretching her fingers and shaking out her hands. Jazz, I called to her. Let's just go to the auditorium. We don't need to talk today. She rushed up to me. You sure? The color had returned to her face and her eyes gleamed again. She was psyched. So was I. Yes, I'm sure. Come on. I had my reason for not wanting to meet officially, but she didn't need to know. At the auditorium door, Jazz blocked my entrance. I have to tell you something, Antonia. Jeez. She smacked her own head. I keep thinking about this, and holding my eyes, she finished. I think what your dad did really stinks. Abandoning you guys like that. Ram's dad's a bastard too, but at least he calls once in a while. My face flared. You told Ram about my dad? Jazz's jaw dropped. Of course not. That'd break the oath of confidentiality. Not to mention I might get fired. From what? Jazz opened her mouth to answer, then shut it. A couple of teachers emerged from the copy room, then headed our way. Oops. Jazz yanked open the door and shoved me in. You don't want to get a bad rep for hanging with me. I chuckled. Brushing by her, I said, I can hang with anyone I want. Ooh, Jazz widened her eyes. She made sure to shut the door behind us. Look out, world. I've created a monster. I twisted around. Maybe I already was one. Like you said, bad and bowed. Jazz snorted. As we scurried down the center aisle, I added, My dad isn't a bastard. Well, okay, he is. But I can sort of understand why he left. He just couldn't take it anymore. Couldn't take what? We'd reached the stage, and I flicked on the lights. Jazz didn't race to the piano the way I expected. She stalled at the bottom of the stairs, waiting for me to answer. Mom, I said, and us too. My hollow voice echoed, and I closed in the closed hall. Go on, I waved her off. We don't have that much time. She didn't move. Maybe we should talk today. We'll talk Wednesday. Now go. Dazzle me with your brilliance. She took the stairs two at a time. As I resumed my seat in front, I called up to her. What are you going to play? I don't know. She scraped back the bench. I was going to sneak out some sheet music this morning, but Mom was hanging around the piano. And I don't know what she was doing. She can't even play chopsticks. She was just sitting on the bench, staring, probably at her own reflection. Anyway, the only things I have totally memorized are the Chopin and the pieces I was going to play for my recital. Play what you're going to play for the recital, I said. While Jazz played, I worked on my homework. The live music was better background than any tape or CD. We were both so absorbed in what we were doing that when the bell rang, we shrieked in unison. Gathering my things, I followed Jazz to the restroom. Even though it'd make me late, I had to go. When I came out of the stall, Jazz was standing in the mirror. She offered me her black lipstick. I declined. She said, What happened to Bad and Bode? I sneered at her and left. Wednesday, when I arrived at the conference room, Jazz was perched on the table, tucked into her lotus position. Her eyes were closed, thumbs and index fingers pressed together. She droned. It made me happy to see her back to her old self. I shut the door behind me and considered joining her. She seemed deep in her meditation, though, so I slipped quietly into my chair. Bode, Jazz droned, and bad. She bleated like a sheep. Shut up, I said. You take everything so personally. She stuck out her tongue stud. It's just my new mantra. Bode, she droned. By habit, I reached down for my peer counseling folder, then thought, oh, forget it. We've pretty much blown the program. Jess slid off the table and looped a leg over the chair kitty corner from me. She crossed her arms on the table and rested her chin on them. So talk, she said. I flinched. What do you want to know? What did you mean by your dad had enough of you? What were you, like a psycho punker freak or something? I rolled my eyes. You wish. She grinned. I didn't. It's lots of responsibility taking care of two little kids. Duh, Jess said up. It's not your responsibility. I looked away. Where was your mom? She was there, sort of. Do you mind? I pointed to the tabletop. Jazz's eyebrows arched. She shot up after me, and we both assumed our loads side by side. I said. Bode, Jazz said. She peered over at me. It made me smile. After Chucky was born, I began. Mom got pretty bad. He was a real cranky baby, which didn't help. Is that when your mom got depressed? No, she was always depressed. Not like what you saw. She used to have spells. That's what Dad called them. 6 spells. But she'd have to go to bed for a couple of days. If it lasted longer than that, Dad would start yelling at her, telling her to snap out of it. Oh man, that's cold. Dad shook her head. Then one day, he just split. I nodded. And he never called you guys, or wrote, or anything. He might have called Mom. The only thing I ever saw in the mail was the divorce papers. That's when Mom really lost it. How long ago was that? Jazz asked. I thought back. 6, 7 months. I twisted to face her. 6, 7 years. God, Tone, you're so strong. I never could have handled all that. He blinked away and shrugged. You do what you have to do. The hardest part is, Mom and I used to be really close. Then she just sort of went away. Yeah, I know what you mean, Jess said. My mom and I used to be pretty close too. Then she just sort of became a bitch. That made me laugh. Sliding off the table, I said, Come on, let's go to the auditorium. It's kind of late now, Jess said, glancing at her watch. Peered over her arm. Already? Wow, time flies when you're having fun. She whacked me. We left together, closing the door behind us. From now on, let's just meet in the auditorium, I said. A cloud darkened her face. I don't want my playing to take place of our peer counseling. It won't, I said. We can still talk if you want. If you want, we can meet every day. We wouldn't have to actually count it. Yo, Jazz! Someone called from the end of the hall. Wait up! See you tomorrow. I veered off the opposite direction. Wait! Jazz caught my shirt sleeve. Her Punka pal sauntered up to me. What's this I hear about the piano? You and snooze music. I don't know what you're talking about, Jazz said. Eeks told me. Eeks needs to get a life. Jazz cut him off. Changing the subject, she said, Ram, this is Antonia. Antonia, Ram. Hi. He smiled tentatively. Hey, he said, in spite of his orange spikes and nose ring. He's kind of cute. Don't judge her by looks, Jazz said to Ram. Antonia's a good person. The best. A better person than you'll ever be. Hey. Even through his war paint, he looked totally offended. She looks like a babe to me. Jazz kicked his shin. Spinning him around, she shoved him down the hall. See ya, Tone, she called over her shoulder. Yeah, see ya, Ram said, smiling at me. I hope. I floated through the rest of the day. Chapter 26. Prelude à l'après-midi d'une fin by Claude Debussy, translated, Jazz said. It means prelude to the afternoon of a faun. This is my favorite piece in the whole wide world. She lifted her hands over the keys and with the lightest touch began to play. Today I just sat back to listen. The music swirled down around me. I could picture it. A fawn following its mother across the mountain meadow, the warm breeze rustling the aspen leaves. I closed my eyes and let the melody sweep me away. So calming, so comforting. Then the image changed. It wasn't a fawn. It was me. And it wasn't a doe, but my mother. We were having a picnic. Cherokee Reservoir. Something I said made her laugh. A deep, resonant laugh that carried in the wind. I couldn't remember the last time my mother had laughed like that. The last time she'd been really happy. The last time I'd made her happy. Suddenly the bubble burst. I wasn't alone. Someone whispered in my ear, She's amazing. It was Dr. DeLeo, sitting beside me. I smiled. Isn't she? He said, Are you responsible for this? He motioned to the stage. Getting her to play? My face flared. No way. She could always play. I meant. He stopped and smiled. We listened through a passage before he turned and whispered, Is this your peer counseling time? Not really, I said. I mean, we added some sessions. I felt I needed more time to help Jess with a problem. One of them, anyway. What about you? I looked at him. What do you mean? He coughed. Excuse me. Reached into his pocket and popped a tic-tac. While he was sucking away, I decided to ask Dr. DeLeo the question I'd been meaning to. The question whose answer I'd been dreading. When are Jazz's 15 hours up? Or 15 hours? He looked confused. Someone else slid on the other side of me. Hello, Antonia, Miss Bartoli whispered. Who's that? She motioned to the stage. It's Jazz. I twisted to face her. Jazz Luther. Her eyes bulged. She dug her glasses out of her blazer pocket and shoved them on. I added, She's incredible, isn't she? Miss Bartoli didn't answer, just sat and stared. I loved her reaction. The shock, the disbelief. Jazz would love it too, but I told her. If I told her. You look surprised, I said to Miss Bertoli. Well, I... She blinked at me and shook her head. I just never knew she was so talented. Oh, yeah, I said. She's talented in lots of ways. Like, she's really, really smart. She gets straight A's almost. No, Miss Bertoli said. Jazz? She gawked up at the stage. I know, I babbled on. It's hard to get past her looks, but deep down, she's a really cool person. Miss Bartoli frowned at me. Are you two friends? I nodded. Good friends. I didn't know if that was true, but I felt close to Jazz. We'd been through a lot together. Miss Bartoli seemed a little shaken, like she had this major revelation. She stayed to listen for a few more minutes until her watch beeped. When she stood to leave, I told her, Jazz will be practicing again tomorrow if you want to come listen. Oh, Miss Bartoli? I stopped her. I was kind of thinking about joining math club again. I know it's kind of late in the year, but would that be okay? Of course, she said. A smile curled her lips and her eyes softened. I'm so glad, Antonia. The next day, about 5 minutes into Jazz's performance, I felt another presence occupy the seat next to me. When I saw who it was, I freaked. Oh my God, she breathed. It's true, she's playing. Oh my God is right, I thought. Mrs. Luther reached over and clutched my hand. The Mozart Sonata, she said. Isn't it marvelous? Isn't she marvelous? Oh, her hand squeezed mine. We sat there together, lost in the music. I don't know what she was thinking, but I was imagining this was my mom holding my hand, that we were experiencing a special moment together. Mrs. Luther sniffled before releasing my hand and unlatching the purse in her lap. She pulled out a lacy hanky. Just as Jazz finished, Mrs. Luther blew her nose. It caught Jazz's attention. I saw her freeze. Her eyes narrowed before zeroing in on me. I shrugged, hoping she'd get the message that I had no idea how her mother had found out. Mrs. Luther stood and applauded wildly. Brava! Brava! She cheered. Jazz turned away. Her mother raced up on the stage. She yanked Jazz up by the shoulders and smothered her in a hug. Oh, darling, you're playing again. Thank the Lord. Wait until I tell your father. She held Jazz out at arm's length and pulled her in again. Jazz stood there like a rag doll, her face expressionless. Miss Luther said, You are going to play in that recital. Jazz pushed back. No, Mother, I'm not. Yes, you are. They stood eye to eye. A bolt of lightning couldn't cut through the tension. Then a tear rolled down Mrs. Luther's face. I don't give a damn what you wear, she said. You are going to play. She pulled Jazz in close again. Oh, darling, seeing you play again makes me so happy. Jazz's hands lifted and spread across her mother's back. A slow smile of victory spread across Jazz's face. My eyes welled with tears. I had to get out of there fast. Saturday morning, Tilly and Louise had planned to take us to Six Flags, but I begged off with a headache. Would you like me to stay home with you? Tilly asked, reaching up to feel my forehead. I recoiled. No, I'll be fine. I just think I'm tired. She smiled sympathetically. If you get hungry, there are lots of leftovers in the fridge. The cookie can is full too, so help yourself. Don't be a stranger. Strange thing to say to a stranger, I thought. After they left, it took me an hour to work up the courage. 3 times I picked up the phone and dialed. As soon as it rang, I hung up. I was so afraid. Afraid of what? I asked myself out loud. She's your mother. On the 4th try, a receptionist answered. When I asked to speak to Patrice Dillon, the lady said, Just a moment. There was a long pause before someone else said, Psychiatric, this is Nancy. How can I help you? May I please speak to Patrice Dillon? My voice sounded strained, far away. Who may I say is calling? Her daughter. I swallowed hard. She hesitated. Hang on. This was my chance. I could hang up now and forget it. But what if the nurse told Mom I was on the phone and she answered and I wasn't there? It might make her sad. It might cause a relapse. Even worse, she was so drugged up she didn't remember she had a daughter. Antonia? Her voice washed out my worries. Mom? Antonia, sweetheart, how are you? So happy to hear your voice. How are you? What are you doing? Where are you? I chuckled. I'm fine, Mom. I'm here at the foster home. Might be against the rules to reveal their identity. Oh, so what? The Abietas, I said. Tilly and Louise. Where are Michael and Chucky? Are they with you? She remembered them. I breathed a sigh of relief. No, they all went to Six Flags. You didn't go? I wanted to talk to you, in private. Oh, sweetheart, she sighed long and loud. How are you, Mom? I asked. Much, much better, she answered. Really? Really, I think I'll be coming home soon. When? I don't know exactly. The doctor said he'd like me to stay at least another week, just to be sure. She paused. I think it's a good idea. To be sure. Me too, I said. Oh, please be sure in a week, I prayed. We talked for a long time. She asked about me and school and the boys, what the foster home was like. I told her it was okay, but not as good as home. That the Abietas were nice, but not as nice as her. I think that made her happy. Boy, Mom said, food here sure stinks. First thing I'm gonna do when I get sprung is order a bucket of KFC. Extra spicy, extra crispy. After I hug you guys to death. I giggled and said, if we don't hug you to death first. Chapter 27. By the calculation, the 15 hours were up. Had been since last week. More than anything in the world, I wanted to see Jazz on Monday, to tell her the news. I raced to the auditorium straight from fourth period, hoping, praying she'd be there, that she'd lost track, that she'd show up to play at least. When I rounded the corner and caught a glimpse of pink hair, I let out a silent cheer. Jazz lounged against the door, picking at her nail polish. Come on, I said, grabbing the door handles. I have so much to tell you. She widened her eyes at me. Did you get a tattoo or something? You're like glowing. I sneered at her. She pushed the door away. She pushed the door against my tug. We don't have to meet here anymore, she said. I get to play a real piano again. My own. She grinned. My heart plunged until she added, so let's go back to the conference room where it's more private. I grabbed her wrist and ran. As soon as the door closed behind us, I blurted, I talked to my mom this weekend. She says she'll be getting out of the hospital soon. Jazz gasped. That's so great. Then you can all go home. She smothered me in a hug. Yeah. She released me and met my eyes. What? You don't want to go? Of course I do, I said. It's what I want most in the world, but you're still scared? How'd she know? A little. A lot. What if it's like before? It won't be. Your mom's better, isn't she? Lots, she said, and she doesn't want to leave until she's totally well. Then she will be. Jazz squeezed my arms. You'll have your family back. That's what's important. You'll be together again. Taking my chair, I scoffed and said, if I can drag Michael away from the Abietas. I told her how he didn't even want to talk about Mom, about how he'd totally forgotten her. He doesn't understand about family, Jazz said. How you only have one true family, and you have to love them no matter what, unconditionally. An ironic statement coming from her. She added, your brother's seen a lot of bad things go down. Maybe he could use some counseling. Yeah, maybe. I mean, it seems to have helped you. She cocked her head. I blinked. What do you mean? Jess's face paled ghost white against her black lipstick. Without warning, she leapt up on the table and assumed her lotus. Hey, I heard you're going to join math club again. Where'd you hear that? Her eyes darted around. I'm not sure. Someone told me. Nobody knew except Miss Bartoli. I didn't think she'd confided in Jazz. What's going on, Jazz? How do you know stuff about me I've never told you? Are you spying on me? No, of course not. She crossed her arms over her chest. Her arms dropped. She seemed to be stuck speechless, which was unusual for Jazz Luther. She slid off the table and stood before me. I can't do this anymore. It's so bogus. She reached down and grasped the doorknob. We better find DeLeo, she said. There's something you need to know. Oh, God, I thought. Here it comes. I didn't want to deceive you, Jazz said, hopping up on DeLeo's desk. Honest, I was going to tell you. What was she talking about? Dr. DeLeo motioned me to sit. The whole setup was my idea, he said. I didn't think you'd agree to counseling if I told you the truth, Antonia. What was he talking about? My mind was reeling. Truth being, I asked. I shifted in a steel chair to face both of them. Jess swung her legs over the edge of his desk while Dr. DeLeo moved around behind her, wedging a shoulder against the filing cabinet. He held my eyes. That your family situation was deteriorating and that people were concerned about you. Who? What people? Miss Bartoli, for one. Your neighbor, Mrs. Marsh. Both felt you were in trouble, and that you needed to intervene. My face flared. I hated the thought of people talking about me behind my back. Dr. DeLeo said, I paired you up with Jazz because I thought you could be able to help each other. What? Jazz whirled on him. Now don't get mad, he said, holding up his hands. I know you've been having some family problems of your own, Jazz. Your mother called me a couple months ago. My mother? And after you quit the piano, she threatened me with, well, we won't go there. He focused on me. So you really were acting as a peer counselor, Antonia. He ignored the fire shooting up Jazz's eyes. Smiling, he added, That wasn't a lie. I don't know which of us was angrier. Me, I bet. Even thought Jazz was the first to, Even though Jazz was the first to storm out. My departure left a trail of smoke in its wake. Jerk, she muttered, slamming a fist into the nearest locker. He thinks I need counseling? Really, I could barely look at her. You tricked me, I said. It wasn't like that. You knew everything about me before we even started. No, she snapped. No. All he told me was that you were having family problems. I guess he assumed I'd understand. Her eyes narrowed. You knew about my mom. What was going on? No, she yelled in a calmer voice. She added, I didn't. Not until he told me. Look, Antonia, God! I'm really sorry I wasn't honest with you right off. I wanted to tell you, I really did. Especially after you came to my house and everything. Jaleel made me promise. She torched his office with her eyes. And the 15 hours? That was just a story I made up, she said. So you'd buy into this crap. Which I had. My vision blurred. I whirled around and walked away. I heard Jazz charge off in the opposite direction. I didn't know about her, but I felt so hurt and humiliated I just wanted to crawl into a hole and die. Chapter 28. Since I didn't have peer counseling to look forward to anymore, I sort of had a lot of time to look back. The assignment was over, that's for sure. Forget my responsibility. Forget my commitment. Forget Jazz Luther. For the next week, though, every time I passed a conference room on my way to history, Claw reached out and pierced my heart. It wasn't Jazz's fault, I concluded. Okay, yeah, she knew she was counseling me in secret. Sort of an undercover counselor. And it's true that if Dr. DeLeo had been straight with me, I never would have agreed to peer counseling, to any counseling. There was nothing wrong with me. At least I didn't think so. Except I did think Jazz helped me. She was someone I could talk to in confidence. Someone I trusted. That's what hurt most. She was someone I trusted, but she couldn't trust me enough to tell me the truth. When I dragged out of school Friday, Karen was waiting to pick me up. I have a surprise, she said, smiling. I tensed. I come to dread surprises. You're going home tomorrow. My jaw dropped. Really? My whole body went numb, paralyzed. Can you be paralyzed with joy and fear at the same time? She's doing really well, Antonia. You won't even recognize her. What do you say we plan a welcome home party? I bit my lip to stop from crying. All I could do was nod my head. During dinner, after the Abietas heard the news we were leaving, Tilly said, We could bake a cake for your welcome home party. I have some construction paper around here somewhere. Everyone can make a card. She sounded happy, but her eyes looked sad, especially when they locked on Michael. Michael hunched over, swirling gravy around in his potatoes. Chucky said, I can write my name. I jumped up. Come on, let's do it. I hadn't meant to hurt Tilly and Louise's feelings, but I think I did. Tilly got up real fast and moved to the stove. I added quickly, We really appreciate everything you've done for us. You'll probably be glad you have some peace and quiet around here for a change. Tilly turned away. Louise smiled somberly. You're such good kids, he said. We sure enjoyed having you. Michael toppled his chair over backward and charged out of the kitchen. Louise and Tilly exchanged looks. Louise sighed and got up to follow Michael. Tilly gazed longingly out the kitchen door after Michael. No one ever looked at me that way. I hated my brother. I wish he could stay here forever. Karen was coming at noon on Saturday to pick us up. That morning, Tilly had helped me bake a cake, Mom's favorite, German chocolate. When Karen had pulled up, I expected Mom to be in the car, but she wasn't. She's waiting for you at the house, Karen explained. She wanted to get her hair done, clean up a bit, have some time alone at home first. My expression betrayed my panic. After the last time Mom was left alone. It's okay, Antonia, Karen said in a lower voice. She's all right. I couldn't stop shaking inside. Saying goodbye to the Abietas was harder than I thought it'd be, especially for you-know-who. You stuck to Louise like Velcro. I took Karen and Tilly to pry him loose. 20 minutes later, we pulled up to the curb at our house. Karen unstrapped Chucky and helped him out. Michael just sat there, glowering. Well, get out, I said. Mom's waiting. No, he replied. I don't want to. Grow up, I snapped at him. This is where we live. Not the Luthers, not the Abietas. Here, at the Dillons. 3824 Eaton Street. This is our house, Michael. This is our life. Get used to it. Michael widened his eyes at me. I guess it sank in because he opened the door and slid out. Hello, Mom said cheerfully from the doorway. She rushed out to meet us. Mommy, Mommy, Mommy! Chucky ran to her. She wrapped both arms around him and hugged him so fiercely, blinking back tears. She said, Michael? She motioned him into the embrace. He just stood there. I kicked him in the butt, hard. Mom pulled Michael in. He planted himself like a tree at her feet. She looked good, better than she had in a long time. Her hair was cut short and tucked neatly behind her ears. She wore a clean white cotton blouse, which looked freshly ironed, and her black jeans. Our eyes met, and she smiled. She reached across the boys and flicked a tear off my cheek. I didn't even know it was there. Her eyes strayed to the plate in my hands. We made you a cake, I offered it to her. It's your favorite, German chocolate. She released the boys, took the cake, inhaled deeply, and then cocked her head at Michael. You know how you're always asking, can we eat dessert first? Well, why can't we? Let's go. We all headed toward the door. Karen pulled me aside and said, You can call me if she gets bad again, Antonia. Promise. I will. I'll make sure she takes her medication. No, Karen said. That's not your responsibility. She needs to make sure she takes her medication and keeps her doctor's appointments. Your neighbor said she'd be glad to drive her, so there's no excuse. It's your mom's job to keep herself well. Also, I'm trying to get her into a support group for women with depression, like the one I'm in. You can call me if anything happens before then. She slipped her card into my hand. It felt good, safe to know help was a phone call away. I'll stop in next week to see how you're all doing. She bustled to her car. Karen? I caught up with her at the curb. Could you maybe see if there's a counselor or something Michael could go to? He needs help. Someone to talk to besides me. All I ever do is get mad at him. I guess I don't understand what he's going through. Over my head, she frowned at Michael's back. Yes, I will. I'm glad you said something. I've been so preoccupied with other cases, I should have noticed. There are all kinds of resources available. Don't you worry, Antonia. I'll be in touch. You just enjoy being back home with your own family. She squeezed my shoulder. Instinctively, my hand reached up, clamped on hers, and squeezed back. Alright, guys, that's it for me. Leave a like, comment down below, subscribe if you like. We only have 2 more chapters to go before we're completely done with this, so I really hope you guys have liked this so far, because I love this book. It's amazing. Alright, so thanks for watching, guys. See you next time. Bye!